we had $5 billion that were not funded to our children. District 36, which is my district, suffered the most. And if you cannot fight with the Republicans and stand your ground for District 36, then there's no use of you being there. You must fight for District 36. District 36 is the poorest in our area, in this county. And I am a fighter. And the people that know me know I take no for
We've seen about over 180,000 new students going into our public education systems throughout the state. And one of the things we have to keep in mind is not only do we want to put them in a path to be successful, but we also got them ready. We need to get them ready for college. So one of the things we need to continue to address, not only the education funding, how we can make it equitable throughout the state, here in the region, but also what are we doing to put our students in the path to be successful, not only in higher education, but also throughout their life. Definitely. What we did this past session was we not only had an emergency supplemental appropriations bill to restore some of the cuts from the last biennium, but we also worked and put ourselves in the path for success in the future. One of the things we have to remember is next legislative session, we've set the bar a lot higher, which will give us an opportunity to not only try to look at equitable funding for our school districts throughout the state, but see what more we can do to make sure that it's fair for everybody across the board.
But you know what? They didn't give us back the $5 billion that they had told us. They gave us $3.2 billion to our children. And they did not consider that we have 70,000 to 80,000 more children in schools. So we need a fighter for our children. District 36 needs a fighter, not somebody who's going to sit there and not fight. He should have fought for this.
One of the things we have to continue to propose and push forward are additional changes to the model subdivision rules, which impact us greatly here in the Rio Grande Valley. Not only regulating the amount of structures that could be within one lot, but also making sure that if you're doing development, it has a proper infrastructure in place for that. So as we look at that, not only from the state level, we also have to see what powers can we give to the local level, to the local county. One of the things we did this past session through our roadside vendor bill was try to find a way to regulate some of the roadside vending that is going on in the unincorporated areas. Not only because we want to make sure that everybody's playing by the same rules, but we also want to give the county the power to go and regulate that and adopt their own provisions for that regulation. So we do the same thing with the model subdivision rule. I think we not only will have a positive impact on our community, but we'll also give them the tools that they need for enforcement.
I have been walking the streets and spoken to thousands of people out there, and believe me, there's poverty out there, and there has been no voice, no voice. They don't believe in anybody anymore. They're so saddened by this. They need a fighter. Those people need somebody to fight for them, and that is me. I will fight for those people. I belong to the top organization, which is Top Texas Organizing Project, and I went to visit the colonias. There is no lighting. There is no drainage. It is really bad. I went to see Commissioner Tito Palacios, and I said, Commissioner, please help me. And he stated, I need somebody who can get me more money so I can do a better job. That is what we're lacking, monies. We need to go out there and fight. I will be that fighter for District 36. I will go fight for those people and ask for the monies to bring in the lighting, to bring in the correct drainage that they need. Thank you. Yes, I will. Let me tell you why. I have a husband who has a brain tumor. He has suffered a brain tumor for the past 15 years. And District 36 is very poor. I'll be very honest with you. And you're probably tired of hearing that, but I'll keep mentioning it. Because I'm part of that 36. I have sold most of my properties trying to save my husband. Physically, emotionally, you're drained because you have no money left to save that man's life. He is my husband. I love him. He gave me 3 children. So I know what it is not to have the money or to have the affordable health care. And I will go fight. Why? Because I know what it is to cry and say, I don't have any more money to pay for the medication that cost my husband $3,000 weekly, and I'm still working.
One of the things we have to continue to push for is, even if the state does not want to embrace Medicaid expansion, we have to look for avenues to allow our counties to do so. One of the pieces of legislation that we proposed was to allow the county to deal directly with CMS. with the federal government to see if they can agree, if they wanted to expand Medicaid, if they can do so on their own without having the state step in and say yes or no. One of the things we have to push for, in addition, over the interim and also next session, is to see what the effect it has had on us, especially here in the Rio Grande Valley.
Our House is composed of Republicans, and we need fighters. We need somebody who will fight for our children. I will be your fighter. I will be the fighter of District 36. Nobody can fight better than me. I don't know the word no, or I can't. That's not me. People that know me, and the majority of this county knows me very well. That's not in my vocabulary. No is not in my vocabulary. I am a fighter, and I will fight for every child. Why? Because I am a mother. I also have children. And I will fight for everyone who sits here, who has children, and the people that don't have children. I will fight for you. Thank you.
Actually, one of the pieces of legislation, or one of the bills, was one of the ones that I authored in partnership with some of the other members of the delegation here in the Valley. And we were looking to strengthen the penalties not only for the projectile crossing a property line and the type of weapons that we use, but we're also trying to bring in more personal responsibility classes into our higher education courses. That piece of legislation did make it out of committee in the House. It did even pass the House of Representatives. Where it got cut up was in the Senate. And so it shows that even though we have a different makeup in our legislature, when it's a good initiative, it's a good proposal, I think if we work in a bipartisan way, we can make it happen. So it's one of the things we have to put in our legislative agenda for the future as well.
That's a tough question for me. And let me tell you why. Because I'm focused on District 36. And I realize that we have a lot of Mexican investors. And I realize that a new law just passed by Mr. Munoz stating that the semis, trailers can carry double the amount of weight, or I think 45,000 pounds more, something like that to that effect. But to me, that is creating more jobs, definitely. But it's creating the jobs for packing sheds. And District 36, they don't want any more packing sheds. They want a medical school, part of a medical school. They want the university to have a branch over there. That's what they're looking for. They're not looking for any more packing sheds. They're tired of the packing sheds. So if we can, if I can, which I will be, I will change that. I want something better for District 36.
Our international ports of entry are extremely important, not only because of the amount of commerce we do on a daily basis with other countries, but also the type of job creation that we experience, not only here in South Texas, but through the rest of the state, the rest of the country. And some of our ports of entry are the gateway to the rest of the nation in terms of agricultural products, produce, vegetables. Also, a manufacturing industry is extremely huge here in the McAllen Port and Trade Zone. So one of the things we have to look to improve is not only the effectiveness and efficiency of our international ports. We have to bring in our federal partners, whether that's Customs and Border Protection, whether that's our agricultural inspectors at our bridge, to not only make sure that we have more of a federal presence at our international ports of entry for security purposes, but also to make sure that we have the technicians, the inspectors that are necessary to continue to move the flow of commerce in a more efficient manner. So we need to all sit together on a state and federal level to make sure that we're doing that for the betterment of everything.
And the next question will be from